Good morning and welcome to New Hanover County Schools, The Morning Show. I'm Shannon Maines.
And I'm Hannah Bolick. This is the week of April 6th through April 12th.
Last week was spring break and we are still celebrating here on our show.
We have a special edition of Student Voices where we ask students at Winter Park Elementary about their spring break plans.
In addition, we have an exciting story from the Archaeology Channel. They explore the past of Ireland as they visit one of the country's abandoned islands.
And we have a fun-filled destinations. In this edition, we get to travel to Maui for a glimpse of the destination we'd all like to be going to this spring break.
It's going to be a fantastic show, but for now, let's check in with our news anchor who is standing by with your first look at our headlines. Good morning.
Good morning, Shannon and Hannah, and welcome everyone to your school news here on The Morning Show. Topping the headlines this week. Parsley hosts Azalea Festival Children's Art Award winners. Pi Day celebrations go on forever at Murray. And county students win big in math competitions. I will have all those stories and more coming up later in the show.
We get things going today with a staple here on The Morning Show with a segment we call This Week in History. Our Grand Master of Historical Knowledge has all the headlines from past times in This Week in History, brought to you by Kidsville News.
Welcome to This Week in History. I'm your historical host, Samantha Klein, covering all the colorful and amazing events that have left their mark on history's timeline. This is the week of April 6th through April 12th. April 6th, 1776. The Continental Congress takes the first step towards American independence by announcing their decision to open all American ports to international trade with any part of the world that is not under British rule. April 7th, 1961. President John F. Kennedy sends a letter to Congress in which he recommends the U.S. participate in an international campaign to preserve ancient temples and historic monuments in the Nile Valley of Egypt. The campaign was designed to save sites threatened by the construction of the Aswan High Dam. April 8, 2005. Eric Rudolph agrees to plead guilty to a series of bombings, including the fatal bombing at the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta, in order to avoid the death penalty. He later cited his anti-abortion and anti-homosexual views as motivation for the bombings. April 9, 1959. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA, introduces America's first astronauts to the press. The 7 men, all military test pilots, were carefully selected from a group of 32 candidates to take part in Project Mercury, America's first manned space program. April 10, 1953. The horror film The House of Wax, starring Vincent Price, opens at New York's Paramount Theater. Released by the Warner Brothers, it was the first movie from a major motion picture studio to be shot using the three-dimensional film process, and one of the first horror films to be shot in color. Finally, your weekend history tidbits. April 11, 1814. Napoleon Bonaparte, Emperor of France and one of the greatest military leaders in history, abdicates the throne and is banished to the Mediterranean island of Elba. He would return to his emperorship in 1815 only to be banished a second time. April 12, 1633. The Inquisition of physicist and astronomer Galileo Galilei begins. Galileo was ordered to turn himself in to the Holy Office to begin trial for holding the belief that the earth revolves around the sun, which was deemed heretical by the Catholic Church. He was convicted of heresy and spent the rest of his life under house arrest. That's This Week in History, your ultimate source for those key moments in time. I'm Samantha Klein. Thanks for stopping by.
This Week in History is brought to you by Kidsville News, a fun and effective learning resource for children, teachers, and parents. It features school news, information, and local community events while promoting literacy and the development of good reading habits, character traits, and study skills in young children. And Kidsville News is always free. Copies are delivered every month to every elementary school in the New Hanover County school system.
And join us again next time for another journey through time as we explore the fun, fascinating, entertaining, and educational facts that make up This Week in History.
Now don't go away. We'll be right back.
There are so many fun things we all can do to be healthier, no matter who you are or where you are. So let's move.
And we're underway.
Let's stretch in the grass.
And we're ready to go.
Let's play tag.
What a play!
Let's jump up and down.
What a way to finish it!
And most of all, let's eat better so that we have the energy we need to play an hour a day, every day.
Anyone can play. Just go to letsmove.gov to learn more.
Introducing the all-new Enclave. It's a minivan to the max, with features like remote control sliding rear doors, 150 cable channels, a full sky view roof, temperature-controlled cup holders, and the 6-point navigation system. It's the minivan for families on the go.
When you earn your GED diploma, the barriers in your life fall. Take the first step and get free GED information in your area at 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or yourged.org. Earn your GED diploma and begin your brighter future.
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm Shannon Maines.
And I'm Hannah Bolick.
Today we have a special edition of our segment, Student Voices.
Each month, we poll students at a school on their thoughts from a host of questions. These questions range from local and national current events to topics that are just for fun. We feature their answers in Student Voices.
Since this week is all about spring break, we asked students at Winter Park Elementary, what would you like to do during your spring break?
And here's what they had to say.
During my spring break, I would like to go to the Outer Banks because that is what we usually do, and it's really fun. It's really just like here, except it has, I think, a better beach and it is cooler.
I would maybe go to the beach with my dad and read a book over spring break. I'm going to Disney World for the first time and staying with my aunt and uncle and my little cousin Gavin.
I'm going to Hawaii for my 6th time with my sister, my dad, my mom, and my cousin.
I'm gonna go to Ohio and stay for like 2 weeks with my grandma, grandpa, and my mom. And I might see my 2 sisters, Alex and Ashley, and then I'm going to go to Arizona and see my old sister and swim in their pool and go in the hot tub when I get really cold.
To save up money to raise a dog.
When I am in spring break, I would like to go to Defy Gravity.
Probably just play video games. I
I'm gonna get a dog soon, so that will probably be another thing. I'll probably play with my dog and stuff like that. But video games would be something else.
I'll mostly stay home. I'd like to go to New Jersey and see my grandma and papa and see my cousins.
Well, I will go to my country or maybe play with my dad. And I will go to the beach with my dad too.
Thank you, Winter Park Elementary. Those were some fun spring break plans.
All right, it's time now to send it over to the news desk for your school news and our news anchor, Airly Ward, who is standing by. Good morning.
Good morning, and welcome to Your School News on the Morning Show. I'm Airly Ward. Topping the newscast this week, Parsley Elementary recently held the Azalea Festival Children's Art Contest Awards Ceremony in their media center. They received the hosting honor when one of their students won the contest. YSN reporter Emily Katz was on hand and has all the details.
It was a festive day at Parsley Elementary when the Azalea Festival Children's Art Contest Committee arrived to hold their annual award ceremony. Community members, parents, administrators, and award winners from across the country were all on hand to celebrate and honor one special Parsley student. The contest allows elementary and middle school students to become a part of the Azalea Festival while nourishing their creativity.
The contest was started back in 2010 as a way to just reach out to more families and children about the Azalea Festival. We found that when we talked with kids in school that although they've lived here their whole entire life, that they'd never even been a part of even been to any of the activities. So the art contest was a way to get them just thinking about it. And what really blossomed out of it that I loved is the art teachers took it as a lesson, as a cross-curriculum lesson where they learned a little bit about social studies, the history of Wilmington, while they're talking about their art.
This year, the art contest boasted a record amount of entries as 343 students submitted artwork. The first place winner at the elementary level was Parsley's own Becky G. Rolami, a fifth grader in Miss Dawn's class. She was honored and received several gifts for her work titled Celebrating the Beauty and Uniqueness of Our State in the Spring.
I'm really excited for being a winner, and I'm really happy and a little bit nervous. And I'm really looking forward to the parade, being in the parade, and I want to go to the governor's mansion, and I'm really excited about that.
3 other students at Parsley made it to the final stages of the competition. In addition, other top elementary school winners and the top middle school winner were all in attendance to receive their award. At the elementary level, second place went to Sarah Hoffer from Carolina Beach Elementary. Third place went to Danielle Swart from Forest Hills Elementary, and the 3 honorable mentions were Molly Brinker from CFCI, Yates Kirby from Wilmington Academy in Arts and Science, and Brianna Mijoey from Williams Elementary. The middle school winner was Max Brinker, also from CFCI, and second place went to Katie Whitmer from Noble Middle School. All of the Azalea Festival Children's Art Contest winners' work as well as other top finishers' work will be on display in an exhibit at the Community Arts Building located on the corner of 2nd and Orange Street. An opening will be held on April 2nd, and the works will be displayed in the Community Gallery until mid-May. Reporting for Your School News, this is Emily Katz.
Every year, mathematicians all over the country celebrate March 14th, better known as Pi Day. This year was a special year due to the year being 2015. The date was 31415, which is also the first 5 digits of pi. 7th grade students at Murray Middle celebrated Pi Day this year through a series of activities that helped the students see where pi fits into our everyday lives.
Do a little bit different. It's not actual Pi Day, it's tomorrow, but we decided to celebrate it at school today, and by doing it in a station rotation and having the kids be able to travel freely and focus on that activity, I think makes it a little bit more special for the kids, and having our kids get to see different math teachers teach them some different things.
There were many different activities which included figuring out the relationship between the circumference and the diameter of a circle, answering questions from an article on the importance of pi, determining what size pizza is the best buy for size compared to price, And the students even got to estimate how much candy was in a jar using math formulas, and the student who got closest had their math skills rewarded by being allowed to take all the candy home. The students learned a lot about pie, and a good time was had by all. New Hanover County Schools students were big winners in the 2014-2015 State Level Reflections Contest. With a complete report on the winners is YSN reporter Heather Jensen.
PTA Reflections is a national arts recognition program that encourages students to explore their talents and express themselves. Recently, 8 New Hanover County School students were named winners in the 2014-2015 State Level Reflections Contest. This year's theme was "The World Would Be a Better Place If." Students could use various themes like art, literature, music, dance, and video production to demonstrate the theme. The New Hanover County School winners are, in the Outstanding Interpretation category from Ashley High School, is Marquise McCutcheon. In the primary category of dance choreography is Sierra Roseborough from Anderson Elementary. Then, taking second in literature in the kindergarten through second grade category is Mahan Lanzi from Blair Elementary. Second place in music composition in the middle school category is Chester Tyson from Myrtle Grove. Second place in the senior level of music composition is John Davis from Laney High School. The first place photography winner in the middle school category is Maya Porzio from Myrtle Grove Middle School, while taking second place in senior photography was Emma Thompson from Laney High School. Winning big in the middle school category of visual arts was Elizabeth Yates from Myrtle Grove Middle School, who took first place honors. All first place winners will move on to the national PTA competition. The North Carolina PTA will host a reflection celebration for state level winners in first, second, and third place. Special artists and theme search winners will also be recognized at the event in April. Overall, the PTA Reflections competition showcased the creative and talented students of the New Hanover County School System. Reporting for Your School News, this is Heather Jensen.
For all of the latest on New Hanover County Schools, join us weekdays at 5:30 p.m. here on Time Warner Cable Channel 5 and Charter Cable Channel 191 for Your School News, a complete half hour of all the latest news and information from New Hanover County Schools. Now back to our hosts.
Thanks, Sarah Lee. Math Fun 101 is a brief yet very useful math lesson, produced in conjunction with and hosted by middle school math coaches and teachers. This segment takes a look at an everyday problem and how to solve it. The segment also gives us a little bit of information we can use to solve similar problems in our own lives. This week, Ryan Redd from Rolling Grice Middle School shares tips on using percentages.
Hi, welcome to Math Fun 101. I'm Ryan Redd, math coach at Myrtle Grove. Today we have a great word problem to work through, so let's get started. Our problem centers around raises and percentages. Here's the problem. A baseball player gets a 20% raise. The next year his performance drops and his salary is cut 20%. He says, "Oh well, at least I'm making as much as I did before." Is he right? Why or why not? So let's go to the board. And if we reread the problem, it does not give us a salary for the baseball player, so we need to make one up. And in real life, he could make $250 million or $250,000, but to make it easy for this problem, let's just use 250. Now, the best way to do this is to find 10% of this amount and then double it to find 20%, but I'm going to use a little diagram to help me get started. And we're going to separate our money and our percent. So we're starting off with $250, which $250 is our total amount, so that's our 100%. So to find 10%, all we have to do is divide by 10. We have to divide 100 by 10 and 250 by 10, and 250 divided by 10 is 25. Now to find 20, all I need to do is times by 2 or double the 25 and you get 50. So he is going to get a $50 pay raise, which 250 plus 50 is $300. So his new salary is $300. So his performance drops and he is going to get a salary cut by 20%. So we need to make a new table to find 10% and then double that to find 20. And since he had his raise, our new 100% is $300 because that is his new salary. Don't make the mistake of using his old salary of $250. Okay, so to find 10%, we divide by 10, and 300 divided by 10 is 30. And to find 20, we multiply by 2, and 30 by 2 times 2 is 60. So he is going to take a $60 pay cut. So $300 minus 60 is $240. So he was better off not taking a pay raise to begin with, but that's okay. But at least he knows that he's making less money after his salary cut. Okay, percentages play an important part in our daily lives. As you can see from today's word problem, percentages can be tricky, and understanding how they work will be quite helpful. Percent is defined as 1 part in every 100. A simple way of looking at it is there are 100 cents in every dollar. 100 pennies equal 100% of a dollar or $1. Some everyday items that use percents are mortgages, nutrition labels, grades, political ratings and votes, and the weather forecast. That's all for today. For Math Fun 101, I'm Ryan Redd.
Thank you, Miss Redd.
Now don't go away. This rip-roaring edition of the morning show will continue right after this break. But before we go, we have our trivia question of the day.
Since this is our official spring break show, our trivia question is about spring break.
The first official spring break event was actually a swim meet for 300 students held in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Today our trivia question asks, what year did the first official spring break take place? A, 1920, B, 1938, C, 1959, or D, 1972?
We'll have the answer when we return.
For more simple ways to fight the flu, visit www.flu.gov.
This is the hand that sows the seed, that grows the forest, that drinks from the stream, that hugs the mountain, that gives shape to the wind, that carries the kite, that is flown by the child, that is loved by the woman, that toils at the job, that gives to Earthshare, that supports the hand, that sows the seed.
All life is woven together. How can we choose which environmental cause to support? Earthshare, the workplace giving program, makes it simple by bringing the leading environmental groups together under one umbrella. Support Earthshare, and you support them all, including the hands that sow the seeds and protect the forests and the streams and the children. To learn more, please visit our website.
What state am I?
I'm the southernmost of the New England states. My capital is known as the insurance capital of the world. I am home to the oldest continuously published paper in the U.S. Do you know who I am? If you guessed Connecticut, you're right. I received statehood in 1788.
This United States factoid has been brought to you by New Hanover County Schools on the Learning Network of the Cape Fear.
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm Shannon Maines and my co-host is Hannah Bullock.
The weather has turned warm and everyone is always ready to get out and enjoy it this time of year, which is just one of the reasons people are excited by spring break.
Before the break, we asked our trivia question of the day, which was about spring break. What year did the first official spring break take place? A, 1920, B, 1938, C, 1959, or D, 1972?
Think about it a moment. And the correct answer is B, 1938. By 1959, over 20,000 students showed up for the spring break in Fort Lauderdale.
Here's a few more spring break facts. Over 1.5 million students go on spring break each year. They spend over $1 billion.
The #1 U.S. spring break destination is Daytona Beach, Florida. However, along with beach trips, many travel agencies offer spring break deals on skiing and snowboarding destinations.
And not everyone spends their spring break on recreation. About 35,000 students spend their spring break volunteering, including 10,000 students who help build houses for Habitat for Humanity.
Shifting gears now, archaeologists study past human life and culture through the recovery and examination of remaining material evidence. Using artifacts, inscriptions, monuments, and other remains, they paint a picture of the past. In many cases, that picture tells a story. We have one of those amazing stories from our friends at the Archaeology Channel. This week, they take us to Ireland and the island of Inishark.
Off the west coast of Ireland are some rocky islands that have been inhabited for thousands of years. The island of Inishark is one of those, but the last people actually abandoned it back in 1960. Today, it's a lonely place with the empty remains of old houses and other structures. Archaeologists study that sort of thing, of course, but in this case, they can actually talk to some of the people who once used them.
Watching the stormy seas pound the shores of Inishark, it seems impossible that people once eked out a living on this tiny, battered island. And yet they did, and not so long ago. Stone houses stand vigil for the vibrant community of fishermen and farmers who once lived here, enduring weeks at a time of storm-bound isolation at the hands of the mighty Atlantic. The decay of the ruins mimics the community's collapse during the 20th century, when young people from Inishark, like their counterparts all over Ireland, left their homes behind, seeking opportunities abroad. The island community needed young people to man the wooden boats used for fishing and travel to the mainland. As the population dwindled, the hardships and isolation of island life eventually overwhelmed those remaining. In 1960, the last 24 islanders evacuated the centuries-old village on Inishark and moved to government-sponsored holdings on the mainland. Our team of archaeologists arrived on Inishark just shy of 50 years after the abandonment. As part of the ongoing Cultural Landscapes of the Irish Coast project, we came prepared to investigate and conserve the heritage of the Western Irish coast. With the help of modern technology, we could learn a lot from the material remains still evident on the landscape. By exploring historical documents, we could discover still more about life on the island. Because the abandonment of Inishark was so recent, we had an opportunity rarely available to archaeologists. In June 2009, we brought 3 surviving islanders, Teresa Lacey, Martin Murray, and Peter Corrigan, back to Inishark to lend a voice to the past.
This was the house I was born in and grew up in. So the potatoes there, you can see the tracks of the ridges in the field, all the ways down, hay down at the bottom of it.
The islanders' testimony complemented other lines of evidence in our interdisciplinary approach.
This house here was built for the school teacher. And the house far over than in the far was where the king used to live. And the house over beyond that again, a family by the name of Kings lived in it. They were uncles of Sonny Lacey's. You know, that's the one near to the pier, you know. And then you go further up, you have the church and my grandmother's house. But this is where all the decisions are made now. And you see, it was a quiet house. There was no kids in it, so there was nothing to interfere their conversation, you know. So they were let at it, and they played cards. And if they weren't, you know, but it was a winter house, you know. Maybe sometimes on a Sunday, if it was too bad to go to Nishbuffin to Mass, they would sit outside at the gable of the house there and discuss things as well.
The islanders' memories demonstrated the immediate connection between the physical landscape and traditional life.
Right out of the door here, and right up to the ceiling, that was packed with potatoes, because it had to be, you know, to feed the family. I mean, the potatoes would have to do from October right till May or June, you know. So you had to sow a lot of potatoes. And that was a haggard there where they kept their vegetables. Right here, they put the turnips, carrots, parsnips, everything was put in here.
The islanders could explain, identify, and interpret the landscape, sometimes revealing layers of meaning in unexpected places. Being able to include living witnesses alongside traditional archaeological data was an exceedingly rare and valuable opportunity. Their memories replaced guesswork and inference in our understanding of daily life and features on the landscape. But Teresa, Peter, and Martin ultimately gave us more than just information. Their testimony revealed some of the hopes, joys, and fears that characterized life on the island. As traditions fade out of practice and buildings crumble, their memories lend a voice to the silent stones of Inishark.
We hope you enjoyed this interesting story from the Archaeology Channel. We'll feature another great story next month here on the Morning Show.
All right, it's time now for this week's lunch menu. This is the menu for Monday, April 6th through Monday, April 13th.
On Monday, April 6th, let the unique flavor of beefaroni with a breadstick satisfy your hungry stomach, or if you prefer, pick corn puppies or a Chick-fil-A sandwich. Side items include sweet potato fries, a garden salad, and spiced apples.
Then, on Tuesday, April 7th, get your grub on with chicken and waffles, Salisbury steak with a biscuit, or a pizza slice. Leave the lunch line with a smile because side items include red skin and mashed potatoes with gravy, garden salad, and fresh fruit.
On Wednesday, April 8th, satisfy your need to feed with chicken nuggets with a roll, a tuna fish salad sandwich, or a juicy bacon cheeseburger. Pile your plate high with sides of pasta salad, glazed carrots, a garden salad, or diced pears.
On Thursday, April 9th, fill your belly with cheesy breadstick bites, chicken fajita with Spanish rice, or a hot dog with chili. After that, fill your tray with macaroni salad, great northern beans, a healthy garden salad, and fresh fruit.
Then on Friday, April 10th, spice your day up with popcorn chicken and a roll, a pizza pepperoni hoagie, or a tender pork barbecue sandwich. Complete your awesome meal with the macaroni and cheese, carrot sticks, a garden salad, and sweet diced peaches.
Finally, on Monday, April 13th, your school's cafeteria will be serving 3 entrees to choose from: oven-roasted chicken with rice and gravy, a beef taco with Spanish rice, or an American-style cheeseburger. Accompany your meal with barbecue pinto beans, a garden salad, or a tasty frozen fruit cup.
And there you have the lunch menu for the week.
Don't forget, you can also start your day off with a healthy and hearty breakfast at school.
We now have our exciting travel segment, Destinations. Each month we feature a different travel destination and highlight unique features on what to do and what to see. This week we journey to a faraway land that would be an excellent destination for spring breakers. Live vicariously through this segment or take notes and plan your next vacation. The choice is yours, but either way, join us as we head off to Maui, Hawaii.
In this edition of the travel segment, we are bringing you information about the warm tropics of Maui. Catch some waves off the second biggest island of Hawaii. This tropical paradise is world famous for having some of the best waves for surfing and is a fascinating Pacific destination. If riding waves on a board doesn't work for you, then hop on a boat and spend some time watching humpback whales finish their 3,000-mile trek from the cold waters of Alaska to bask in Maui's sunshine and protected sanctuary. After that long day of whale watching, have an evening feast at Lele Luau, where you are greeted by fresh flower leis and dine on some traditional Polynesian dishes. Entertainment for the evening consists of Samoan fire knife dancers passing flaming knives through their legs and around their bodies. The morning after that feast, take a drive along the legendary Hana Road. The road spans 42 miles and contains 54 bridges and 600 hairpin turns with breathtaking views right out your window that look over sheer cliffs, inches from the rims of your tires. Once you reach the end, you arrive at Hotel Hana Maui, a 66-acre retreat with cabins overlooking the ocean. During your stay at the hotel, take a hike to Waimaku Falls above the 7 sacred pools of Ohio Gulch along the Pipawai Trail. At the great height of 400 feet, Waimaku Falls has free-falling water cascading down a sheer lava rock wall. From there, you can also see the remains of a sugar mill dam and flumes of the late 1800s. Finish your incredible trip off with a lazy day at Honakalani Black Sand Beach. Be sure to grab a handful of the unique black sand to take back with you as a reminder of the wonderful memories you made during your visit to Maui.
I sure wish I was going there this spring break.
That would be nice. It looks like a lot of fun.
Maybe one day we'll make it there, but for now, let's head to a break.
Here is our feature on famous artists. This week we look at Jackson Pollock. This segment was written, produced, and edited by New Hanover High School senior Dylan Grace.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Jackson Pollock was born on January 28, 1912, in Wyoming and became one of the world's leaders in abstract art. He is most well known for his massive splatter paintings, which could sometimes take up an entire room. Pollock's art career started at a young age as both his mother and his oldest brother were painters. He had a rough childhood with an alcoholic father who eventually abandoned his family, and he received little attention from his mother. His oldest brother, Charles, became the man of the house and also helped to push Jackson along in his career. At 18, Jackson left his family house to live with Charles in New York, where he met his future mentor, Thomas Hart Benton. The Benton family quickly grew fond of Jackson and treated him as a son. Pollock's life took a turn for the worst when his father died in 1933. After hearing of his father's death, Pollock spiraled downward into alcoholism. He began to lose his mind and even ended up threatening his sister-in-law with an axe. This was the final straw for Charles, and he told his brother to leave. Pollock's life came back up during the Great Depression, during which he was able to get help for his alcoholism due to the Public Works of Art project. During this upturn, Pollock met the love of his life, Lee Krasner. In the late 40s, Pollock began his drip period, which is the artwork he is most well known for. During his drip period, Pollock stopped coming up with names for his paintings and simply began using numbers. Fame ended up being Pollock's downfall. When demand for his art increased, so did his stress and his alcoholism. Concerned for Pollock's well-being, Krasner called on Pollock's mother to help. Her presence helped to stabilize Pollock and began to paint again. He completed his masterpiece, The Deep Print. However, there was only so much she could do. By 1956, Pollock had stopped painting altogether and had begun to date other women. Krasner left for Paris for a short while, but during this time, Pollock was killed while driving drunk. Krasner returned to bury Pollock and deal with his remaining paintings. While he lived a troubled life, Pollock maintains his place as one of the most influential artists of the 20th century.
Indiana's Booth Tarkington looked at life in a different way. Tarkington's Willie Baxter is amusing as he woos Lola Pratt in 17, In his more serious works, The Turmoil and The Magnificent Ambersons, Tarkington showed the effect of industrial growth on residents of quiet, pleasant cities. This background in literature has been brought to you by New Hanover County Schools.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
History's Timeline, a world of history in 60 seconds, brought to you by New Hanover County Schools. 336 BC, Alexander the Great becomes king of Macedonia and crushes a revolt by Athens, Thebes, and other Greek cities. 332 BC, Alexander invades and conquers Egypt and founds the city of Alexandria. 323 BC, Alexander dies of malaria and his empire is divided among his generals. 217 BC, Hannibal annihilates a Roman army at Lake Trasimene. 214 BC, construction of the Great Wall of China begins. This has been History's Timeline, an educational snapshot of the fascinating people, places, and events that have shaped our history.
Welcome back to the Morning Show. I'm Shannon Maines.
And I'm Hannah Bolick.
Science is an ever-changing and advancing field. Each day, week, and month, new discoveries are being made and unique experiments are brought to a conclusion. From the tiniest particle to the vastness of space, discoveries are being made in all fields of science.
Our host, Dylan Grace, takes a look at some of the most recent and interesting happenings in science in our segment, What's Up in Science?
Hi, my name is Dylan Grace, and this is What's Up in Science, a segment where I bring you 3 of the most interesting recent science stories. But first, here's our technology tidbit. Apple recently had a press conference where they displayed the Apple iWatch, and we got a lot of info. The watch has nearly all the apps an iPhone does and uses a similar touch interface. It also has a small dial on the side that can be used in a way similar to a mouse. A reporter who got to use the watch said that the watch will allow you to interact with the digital world at a glance in a less outwardly antisocial way than you now do with your phone. The watch will allow for texting, emails, phone calls, and even fitness tracking at a flick of the wrist. The one downside that was noted is that the watch can't function on its own. It needs to be in range of your iPhone. It is expected to go on sale in late April. Now that we're down with the technology tidbit, let's move on to our stories. Astronomers recently discovered a black hole that is 12 billion times larger than our Sun. That puts the circumference of this black hole at 32 quadrillion, 560 trillion, 872 billion miles around. Researchers believe that the black hole existed 13 billion years ago, and some say that it could be the location of the beginning of the universe. The discovery was made by scientists at the Australian National University. Researchers also believe that the black hole could be even bigger than it was when it was created. Now, we've all heard of arsenic. The inorganic versions are highly toxic. The organic versions, on the other hand, cause no harm and are even highly prevalent in the Earth's crust. Scientists believe that the organic type of arsenic could be used to help filter out the toxic versions of arsenic in water supplies. The organic versions of arsenic contain a chemical which reacts with a different chemical in the inorganic arsenic. This chemical can turn inorganic arsenic into a gas, which is released into the air and spread in non-dangerous amounts. Finally, scientists have discovered a drug which can help speed up the metabolism of adults. GC1 is a recently discovered drug which can turn white fat cells, normally associated with obesity, into brown fat cells, which can burn calories on their own. The drug can find excess fat in the body and turn it into heat, which we then release. The drug has only been tested in petri dish and in mice, but human testing is expected soon. That's all for this month. Remember, always keep learning and discovering, and I'll see you next month on What's Up in Science.
Thanks, Dylan. Those were some interesting stories. A drug that will burn fat cells? I guess it was only a matter of time.
I know, to think a lot of people could be losing weight while they were sat there watching TV.
Well, we can only hope people do it the natural way for now and get out there and exercise.
One can only hope. As for now, it's time to swing over to our news anchor for more Your School News. Welcome back, Airly.
Thank you, Shannon and Hannah, and welcome everyone to Your School News here on the Morning Show. Eaton Elementary held its annual Career Day for students. Many parents and people from the community volunteered their morning to share their careers with Eaton. Students had the opportunity to meet workers from a wide range of careers. We get this report from Emily Cross.
4th and 5th grade students at Eaton Elementary got the chance to learn about prospective careers during the school's annual Career Day. Businesses from all over visited the school to help teach the students about different future career paths. Every career path from architect to car salesman was represented.
So really, Career Day is like about where the 5th graders have their parents come out and talk about their jobs, and then you get to see like all the different like things that they do and the salaries and how their job is important to them and things like that.
We had a lot of, great speakers come in. We had someone from NASA come in, he's a chemist. And we had my dad, who's actually a pest control operator, and just tons and tons of others.
Many students in 4th and 5th grade have some idea on what they want to do, but may not have all the details. The Career Day was an excellent way to explain different jobs, and the students learned how to work towards their dream career. Students who didn't know what they wanted to do got a few ideas on careers they might want to pursue. Most of the presenters brought a visual presentation or some object that they work with on a daily basis. An IT worker brought in optic fiber, an artist brought in his supplies and some of his workers, and many of the kids were excited when they saw the 18-wheeler brought in by a transport truck driver.
We went to 6 different careers. Yesterday we had 3 and 3 today. I got to see my dad. He's a family doctor. We did an ear exam with him, so we got to look in the eardrum and stuff. And then I was right over there, and we looked at, it was an engineer, and he showed us this really strong glass. This, I think it was like optic fiberglass. And it was, he said if you stretch it out, it would hold 200 elephants. So that was pretty cool.
I got to meet small business owners. I got to see tons of different things that could really influence our community. I saw many different things that, let's see, I think there was a baker, there were lawyers, there were pretty much every single job under the sun there is.
Presenters took time out of their busy schedule to help teach our future workers about potential jobs, and the students were ready to learn. Career Day is great for elementary students because it shows them early in their academic careers the importance of learning. Career Day also helped motivate students by introducing them to smart, hard-working role models. Reporting for Your School News, this is Emily Cross.
The Least Among My Brethren, known as the Lamb Foundation, is a program through the Knights of Columbus that raises funds that go directly to programs that support people with intellectual disabilities. The foundation presented Krista Hess's specially designed academic classroom at Rachel Freeman Elementary, with 2 generous donations to fund an interactive whiteboard and a digital projector. The interactive whiteboard gives students who are unable to or are working towards grasping a pen the ability to interact with just the touch of a finger during classroom lessons and activities. Freeman Principal Dr. Sherry Veazey and Assistant Principal Sonia Oates were on hand to thank the Lamb Foundation for their community service and donation. New Hanover County Schools last week was thrilled to announce big winners in the world of math, both on the county level and the state level. With reports on the TrigStar and Regional Math Counts competition is YSN reporter Dylan Grace.
Approximately 60 high school students across the nation took part in TrigStar, competition sponsored by the National Society of Professional Surveyors. During the competition, students are asked to complete a paper and pencil test containing questions based on the practical application of trigonometry. Luke Gu of Hoggard High School, coached by Charles Ugetta, won first place in this year's competition, while Giovanni Booty of Isaac Bear Early College High School, coached by Taylor Spear, came in second. Cash prizes were awarded to these top finishers, and they will progress to the state-level competition. Both Luke's and Giovanni's scores will be entered in the state competition, and they could possibly move to the national level where they compete in an additional test. Also in the math world, over 20 schools from across the region were in attendance in this year's state math counts competition. Noble's Middle School's team represented New Hanover County Schools at the state competition. Also qualifying for the state contest were Daniel Chang from Roland Grice, 4th place overall, and Daniel O from Myrtle Grove, 5th place overall. Results are as follows. Noble Middle School teams, coached by David DeRosco, took 2nd place in the state event, while the Roland Grice team, coached by Christy Cornegay, took 3rd place. Math Counts is designed for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders only. Reporting for Your School News, this is Dylan Grace.
That's all for now. To watch this week's edition of Your School News online, visit the school system's website at www.nhcs.net and click on the NHCS TV logo on the home page. Now back over to Shannon and Hannah.
Thanks, Sarah Lee. We close today's show with another riveting morning show tic-tac-toe matchup. Today we will compete in our spring edition of tic-tac-toe.
I love tic-tac-toe.
Well, let the game begin. Let's send it back to Ailey, who will explain the rules.
The rules are simple. I will ask a spring-related question. If you get it right, you can mark the spot in an open spot of the. You can mark the board in an open spot of your choosing. The questions will rotate back and forth. If we run out of questions or tie, the person with the most marks on the board wins. Shannon, you will mark the board with X's, and Hannah, you will mark the board with O's. I flipped a coin before the show, and Hannah, you get to go first. Okay, contestants, are you ready?
Yes.
Sure.
We're ready.
Okay, so which imagery is most associated with the spring season? Is it A, a blazing sun, B, snow, C, foliage, D, blossoms, or E, none of these?
D, blossoms?
That's correct.
Yes. Okay. I want it in the top left corner.
I suppose
like,
go
there you go.
The sun.
Okay. The first day of spring is technically called A, the spring solstice, B, the spring equinox, C, Easter, or D, none of the above.
B, the spring equinox.
That's correct.
Okay, I'll put my X right in the middle. Yeah, that actually probably didn't do anything. But okay.
Spring months vary according to climate and geographic location. In North America, spring season starts in which calendar month? A, January, B, March, C, May, D, July, or E, September?
Whichever one was March, was that B?
Yes.
Okay, B, March.
That's correct.
Okay, I want it in the other top corner. That's the top right corner.
Yeah, okay. Okay, we can do this.
In many cultures, spring symbolizes A, rebirth, B, life, C, death, D, love, or E, all of these?
Is it A, rebirth?
Yes.
Oh, sweet. Okay, put mine in the top middle.
Spring is the season of flowers. The Japanese celebrate the arrival of spring by hosting mass viewings of which flower? A, peach blossoms, B, tulips, C, sunflowers, D, carnations, or E, cherry blossoms?
B, tulips?
That is not correct. The correct answer was E, cherry blossoms.
All right.
Okay.
According to folk legends, certain groundhogs can predict whether or not spring will arrive early in that year. How do they make their predictions? A, look for their shadows. B, judge the thickness of the snow. C, find a mate. Or D, let out a squeal.
Let's see. Should I go with the real answer, or is it A, look for their shadow?
Yes, that's correct.
Ooh. Okay. Bottom middle. Sweet. Okay.
Well, there we go.
That's it.
All right, and our winner is Shannon. You are this year's winner of Spring Tic-Tac-Toe.
Good game.
That was fun.
Well, that does it for this edition of The Morning Show. Remember, for the best TV of all, each and every day, keep it tuned in right here to New Hanover County Schools TV on the Learning Network of the Cape Fear.
Have a great day.
And a wonderful week.